Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. If this is your first time here, then welcome. If you've been here for a second or third time, then welcome back. I just want to take a brief moment and say to all my people who helped push out my videos for Married at First Sight, all of my brand new subscribers, even if you've just joined me last week, thank you so much. We have had a blast, honey, these 7 weeks, and it's almost over. I'm kind of saddened about it, but at the same time, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it, okay? Y'all know it's Wednesday night or Thursday morning, wherever you are, honey. Let's get into it, y'all. So, day 49 of marriage, okay? Everyone is hitting the road, okay? Coming from South Carolina. We see Vincent is driving, honey. I'm sure he's tired considering he drives Uber part-time. I'm just kidding. Don't y'all get sensitive, honey. Y'all been here for 7 weeks. Y'all know I'm going to speak my speech. Okay, so then we see Jacob and Haley. Baby, Jacob at home, settled on that phone. Child ain't worried about Haley, okay? She done traveled the road for 5.5 hours by herself, honey. GPS signal lost, honey. Jacob ain't picking up the phone. He could care less, okay? Haley comes in, and she's like, what time did you leave? Oh, the concern of it all. He said, around 7. She said, he said, I wanted to get back to the dogs because the person watching the dogs has to get up and go to work at 4. He said, and then I looked on the camera and I saw the dog just standing by the door waiting for me. Oh, Haley, doesn't that show compassion and understanding? People who love animals are generally good people. But you wouldn't know that, huh, old flat-faced heifer? Y'all know I got to get it in one time for the one time because this is almost over, okay? So then Haley was like, I understand why, but I mean, he never communicated with me. Why would he communicate with you, lady? Girl, anyway, she said, I expected closer to decision day that we would be in a different place. Well, you thought long and you thought wrong. Let's move forward. Eric and Virginia. The dogs happy to see Virginia, as they should be. Virginia said, every time we get into it, we're getting to the makeup part a little bit quicker. Girl, that's not good. First of all, y'all shouldn't be fighting every second of the day. It's been 7 weeks. And if you're fighting this much now, imagine how it's going to be 7 months or 7 years from now. Girl, that ain't good. Because first of all, when you first meet somebody, that's the honeymoon phase. Honey, all you do is kiss, go to sleep, wake up, go out to eat, and get fat. Gain happy weight. I mean, what are y'all fighting and arguing about? Oh, I understand. He wants to control your drinking and you want to spend a night. Got it. Okay. So then she says, we're getting to the making up part quicker. Virginia said, sometimes he's like, well, you know me. She said, well, sometimes I feel like I know you and sometimes I don't. Well, you don't, honey, because I just made a post about the man that you think that you know. Okay. Allegedly. Clara and Ryan. Clara says, I'm just exhausted because they sit down on the couch and they're about to eat, right? And she's like, I'm exhausted. Why? All y'all did was nap. Honey, every time they paying to y'all over in South Carolina, Ryan was like, did you get a good sleep? Oh my God, I got the best nap. 10 out of 10. Y'all stretching and everything, doing one of them good stretches too. The one that stretch your whole soul. So honey, you should not be exhausted. Anywho, Clara said, I'm really sad that we missed the couples game. We would have smashed that game. And what do the shady producers do? Pan over to all their faults. Their producers are shady boots, honey. She said, me and Ryan were meant to be. Like, I couldn't imagine being matched with any of the other guys. Okay, well, let's run down the list. You have Eric and his controlling ways, Vincent and his whining and his insecurities, and Jacob and his Jacob joke of the day. Boom, boom. So, I guess Ryan will do, honey. Brianna and Vincent. Okay, so they're laying in bed, Vincent's favorite place, because y'all know he needs to lay down, honey. Hopefully, Bree didn't wake him up too early this morning. So Vincent said, I hope things go well for everybody, and I hope nobody don't get slapped or something's thrown in their face or get hit. Well, Chris is questionable, honey. We don't know what might happen. So let's just wait until that day, okay, because we're not sure. Vincent said, we know who's going to stay together. And Bree said, do we? Basically, Vincent, you might not even stay. Especially after that little stunt you pulled later on in the episode. Okay? Child had me 38 hot. I was like, oh my God. Honey, y'all stay with me because we got to get to that part, honey. We're going to get into it as we get into it. All right. So she said, Well, he said, well, I think Haley and Jacob might throw a curveball. Child, the only balls being thrown are the balls that they hit at that batting cage. Child, Jacob and Haley ain't hitting on nothing. I mean, Haley was sitting there acting like she's contemplating staying, but I would be super shocked if Jacob and Haley stayed together. And so then Bree said, well, you don't want to force things. I mean, if it's not there, you don't want to force it because you know she been talking to Haley, honey. So she already know it ain't happening. She said, the only thing that I was questioning as far as us is how unorganized you are. Baby. Then she said, but I'm organized for the both of us. Child, Vincent sat up, and y'all know when he sit up with that killer look in his eyes, and Lifetime play too much. They always play that ID channel music, especially at that part. Da-doon, da-doon, da-doon. I was like, the killer finna come. Oh, my nerves were so bad. Child, my nerves be so bad when Bree drops the bomb on Vincent. Please leave Vincent alone, girl. First of all, you already got a strike against you. It's early in the morning. Number two, you know he ain't got no job and he already insecure about the income of it all and that budget and you and these braids. Number three, which he gonna teach you a lesson about that a little later on in this review. And number three, you gonna say he unorganized and you know he already insecure about everything in under the sun? Girl, okay. Honey, Lifetime know he crazy. That's why they play his theme music. Anyway, Vincent said, I wouldn't say I was unorganized. He said, to hear that, you got to work with what you got. We aren't 100%, perfect. Baby, honey, he letting you know, Bree, honey, you ain't perfect, child. Okay. He said, because I asked the experts not to match me with someone so direct, AKA someone to tell me I got to actually work. Honey, he don't want to be told nothing at all. Okay. But okay, Vincent, go off. He said, and then to hear you were bossy was like a turnoff. Oh, that hurt Bree's feelings, because when he said turn off, she was like, what? So, Vincent, if you knew that her being bossy turned you off, then why wait until now? Passive aggressive much? Boy, gone, honey. Ain't nothing turned you off. You just saying that because she hurt your little feelings, as usual, because she said that you were unorganized, which you probably are. Boy, anyway, we see Jacob and he's meeting up with his friend Adam, and Adam's, he's telling Adam, it's been interesting and bizarre to say the least. And then Adam said, that's kind of marriage. No, Adam, you might be bizarre and interesting because marriage is not categorized or described as bizarre. Boy, gone, honey. Jacob, you might need to get some new friends, child. We can hang out so I can let you know what's really going on. Ryan and his friend are playing shuffleboard or something, child. I don't know what they playing. He said, he thought he knew what he was getting into, but he didn't. Neither did Clara. Okay, she had no idea she was going to be sexless, loveless, and manless, quite frankly, honey, for 7 weeks straight. Ryan said, after 16 hours of interacting with Clara, I realized why they matched us. She's caring, she's lovable, she's quirky in her own way. And then he said, well, in this scenario, you don't have the luxury of time. That's the only thing. Child, I'm glad you know that, because, honey, ain't nobody got time to wait for you to do everything. You literally move slow at everything. Okay, so okay, child. He said, with Clara, every day you're talking about your feelings. Like, I'm emotionally out of feelings. Sometimes I just want to talk about sports. How are you emotionally out of feelings, and how have you been talked to death when your vocabulary consists of one word, and that's sure? This is the most I ever heard you talk. I didn't even know you had that much voice. Boy, if you don't go, honey, talking about stuff that don't even matter, child, please. His friend asked, well, what's the biggest obstacle? He said, just goal setting together, just to set some goals. Well, you need to set a goal to make Clara smile, because that smile has been turned upside down, honey. It's gone. Okay. The friend then asked, just from the convos, are y'all on the same page? Then they start flashing back, because them producers gonna tell it like it is. They start flashing back to everything that they've disagreed on since day one, which is everything. And then he goes, that's a really good question. AKA, hell no. Okay. Then we see Bree and she gets on a Zoom call from her mom. Okay. So, she's talking or whatever, making small talk. And then Bree was saying that making this decision is harder than she thought, and everything and every tough decision that she makes, she usually talks to her mom about it. Girl, you need to talk to God on this one, honey, because I don't know if I could do Vincent. I'm sorry. I just don't know if I could do it. So her mom asked if she was nervous, and she's like, yeah, I thought I was sure, but now I'm not. And she said, one thing is that he's unorganized. Girl, stop thinking of things all men are unorganized, honey. All my husbands could never find their shoes, their keys, honey. They probably wouldn't be able to find me if I wasn't so loud. Child, men are just unorganized. That's just something, child. You can get over that, honey. Now, what we can't do is what you're about to do right here. So she mentioned it, and she said he blew up. Her mom said, well, that's where communication comes in. If he can't communicate, then it's not going to work. Okay, well, what you need to be saying to your daughter is that's where communication comes in, and that's where compromise comes in. And you could stand to learn a few from that. You could stand to do a little bit of that yourself, because you and Vincent actually might be a match, because both of y'all are stubborn and don't want to change, honey. And he's more than just unorganized. He's unmotivated as well. Let's not forget that, honey. He don't want to get up until 12. Okay, I just want to make sure I let you know. That's just a side note. So then she said, her mom said, is that the only con? And then she said, well, he did say when he heard I was bossy, it turned him off. Him sleeping till noon should turn you off. Him not having an actual business should turn you off, honey. Driving people to and fro so they can go get their car fixed does not a business make, honey. Hashtag Carvana. Anyway, so her mom said, well, we didn't mean it that way. Well, y'all shouldn't have put that in the vows, honey, because no man wants to hear that they are about to be bossed around for the next 50 plus years, because it was in the vows like 50 times. Brianna's bossy. She's beautiful, but she's bossy. She was born April 1st, but she's bossy. She loves the Lord, but she's bossy. Like, bossy was every other word, so that's all that stuck with him. Child, anyway, so Bree said, well, he asked the experts not to match him with the bossy person. So basically, Mom, it's your fault. You and that sister, child. So Bree said, I don't want somebody that can't take me. I have changed in the past and it didn't work. And her mom said, well, if that's a deal breaker, then let it go, because that's something you'll never change. No, you shouldn't be telling her that. And then she said, that's like a characteristic of me. No, being bossy should not be a characteristic of yours. Being a boss is what should be a characteristic of yours. Being bossy means you yell and push people around and tell people what to do, point them in a direction of what you want them to do. Being a boss means you make boss moves. You carry yourself with a higher esteem. But you saying you're bossy and you're never going to change it, honey, no man's going to want to be bossed around. So it's not going to just be Vincent. You leave him and find somebody else that's not going to want to be bossed around either. Child, your mama not giving you no good advice, child. 5 days until decision day. We see Clara, and she's calling her friends with some of these weird little baby hands, looking like that little thing off of, what was that movie, Scream, where he stuck his little finger in the mashed potatoes? Clara, oh my God, honey, you should have been matched with Jacob, okay? He would have loved that, okay? So she calls her friend. She said, it's good to check in with your friends, because they know you inside and out. Well, we definitely know Ryan does not know you inside, but we do know he knows the outside or whatever, okay? Her friend said, what is it like being married? She said, I'm doing all the things that you do now. I cook, I clean, I prepare hors d'oeuvres, honey. I don't have no sex. I'm just saying. And then she said, oh, well, what's the best part? She said, it's like having a built-in BFF. Like, we watch movies together. We literally do everything together. It's like having a sorority sister, but I paid less for him. Girl, not a soror. Girl, no, you did not describe your husband as a sorority sister. I cannot stand them. When I tell you I cannot stand these people. Girl, hush. Let me tell y'all something. The only thing I could picture when she said that Ryan was like a sorority sister is him wearing his letters and a tennis skirt. Child, I cannot be bothered. I was so tickled when she said that. She was like, are there any challenges? Here go the producers flashing back. Any concerns? Clara said, no, I think we're good. Lies. Why did you even call her Clara? Then she says, my marriage is a 10 out of 10. No complaints. Clara, go to decision day, hell, honey. I ain't got time to be playing with you, honey. Just meet me on decision day, because I do not have time. I always start with you, and we always go through the same changes, and you always lie, and I don't know why. I always keep giving you chance after chance after chance. At this point, you're Chris, and I'm Paige. I can't take anymore. I don't want to go through the process anymore. This no longer serves me. Child, I ain't got time to be playing with you. So then the girl asked her, so, what if Ryan says he doesn't want to stay married? You know? And Claire's talking about, he wouldn't do that. Okay, girl. Then we see Haley. Child, she lying her interview or whatever. Talking about, I got married because I always ran, but I don't want to do that anymore. Haley, are you present? Girl, you have been running for 7 weeks. You don't even sleep in the same bed with Jacob. Y'all went on a 5.5 hour road trip separately. Okay, girl. Her friend said, it feels like you've been married a long time. Yes, it does, honey. It feels like we've been with her being married a long time. She asked, are you anxious for decision day? And so Haley was like, there has been a time where things were fun and everything, and I had a good time. When you were winning, when y'all were on those go-karts, or, child, you ain't had no fun with Jacob, child. You just sitting here lying. She asked, well, what are your red flags going into decision day? Well, it's that he's been single and not married or had any kids or even been married or anything, and he's 38. Girl, you haven't had a man since homeroom 10th grade. Judge not lest ye be judged. Girl, what? Okay, girl, honey. Anyway, she said, and another thing is our humor, his shoes, his haircut, the fact that he eats steak and eggs, the fact that he's a man, the fact that he has a beard, the fact that he's Caucasian, the fact that he likes me. Like, you don't like anything about him. Girl. And then she was like, okay, girl, well, what's good about him? Well, he's loyal and he's great with the dogs and willing to go through the process. Girl, okay, goodbye. The friend said, well, what if he called you tomorrow and said, my clothes suck and so does my humor, but can we work on it? First of all, friend, let me get you together. Don't try to put him down in the process of saying he's trying to call and beg her back. What you should have said is, what if Jacob said, despite everything we've gone through, I would like to make it work. Don't try to talk about my Jacob, okay? Because I will get you all the way together as well, old stringy head heifer. Anyway, so then she asked, what would you say if he called? The number you have reached has been temporarily disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you've reached this recording in error, please hang up and try your call again. If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator. Honey, that number gonna be changed, child. He is not about to call Haley. Because first of all, he gonna change his number. Because I know how Jacob act. Secondly, he is not about to call Haley. She's I don't know, things can change. Girl, you ain't never given Jacob another chance, and he ain't giving you another chance, and ain't no more chances being had, so stop faking the funk. 4 days until decision day. So then we see Eric. He's with his friend Jim, and Eric says, he knows why they matched him with Virginia. He's the luckiest guy in the world. Virginia's the best thing that ever happened to him. So Jim asks, well, do you see y'all staying together for the long haul? He said, yeah, we pretty much brushed things under the rug, but now we're getting better at communicating. So then Eric starts bringing up her childhood again. I kind of zoned out because he does that every single episode since inception. Okay. Then Jim said, well, what do you think her issue would be with you? Kind of how I say things, how I get really passionate about it. No, you mean how you give ultimatums and you're controlling, honey. That's what you mean. Clara and Ryan. Ryan said, we're going to take this test, to see about our compatibility. So here's Clara taking the test, okay? And she said, oh, Clara. So she starts in with the questionnaire. I strive for perfection. I don't think so. I'm going to answer no. Girl, please. Honey, that's all you've been doing this entire time. Trying to make it like you and Ryan have the perfect relationship. Important for other people to like me? Yeah, I guess so. But I'm going to say no. Girl, it is important for other people to like you. You are begging Ryan to like you. You are begging him to say, I love you. Girl, makes more. And then the other questions go. Makes significant contributions more than the average person? No, I don't think so. Important to achieve great things? Nah. I set goals for myself? No. Girl, Clara, Ryan is looking at you all upside your head, girl. You have no goals, no morals, no judgment. And judging for some of these answers, you got a little lying problem. Girl, it's a no. 3 days until decision day. Vincent talking to his cousin-in-law, Greg. Okay, he look like he don't work either, honey. And Vincent, if you don't get a rag and wipe that screen on that laptop, child, he asked, well, how are you feeling? He said, it hasn't been easy, but, we've been through a lot and, the rough times, but we do have great times too, and her family is great, and they make me little mugs so I can sit around the house and drink my coffee because I ain't going to work, reading the green sheet, trying to find a job. So, her mom's cool. They didn't really say that, but y'all know I like to zhuzh it up. He said, well, decision day is coming up. He said, what are you going to do about that? He said, man, I don't know. He said, when they got back from the trip, he said it was a 5.5 hour drive, and he was upset. So driving, walking, reading, sleeping, working, everything is bothersome to you. Like, okay. So he was upset, and then Bree said something about being organized. Then he told her what bothered him about her being bossy. Child, he's like, I clash with people like that. You clash with work too, but we ain't gonna say nothing about that, okay? Bree needs to change that bossy mentality, because it's not gonna change just because you change. Because even if she switches men, it's still gonna be the same. You just need to go to therapy because you are too insecure about everything. Oh my goodness. So then we go over to Virginia. Okay, so her friend Erin shows up. She said, he's here. He's like a brother to me. He protects me, honey. When he walked through that door, baby, she lit up. Do y'all hear me? Lit all the way up. I have not even seen her look at Eric like that. Virginia said, sometimes with Eric, it's just like a personal space thing. So Erin asked, have you farted around him? She's like, I kind of let one out. Girl, I bet you was blowing that car up, especially when you're drunk, honey. You don't know what you're doing. You can't control your bodily functions at that time. Virginia said, my friends are telling me that this is just normal marriage problems. Girl, no, they are not. Normal marriage problems would be y'all arguing over finances. Not you having a full-on argument every other day about everything under the sun and your dog's personality. Child, okay, Virginia, child, let's move forward, honey. So he asked, are there any reservations? Virginia said, yeah, we fight, but then we're good again. Honey, y'all shouldn't be fighting this much. Then they call Abby because they need reinforcement. Her other friend. She said, hey, how's it going? She said, well, it's going. Virginia said, I want Eric to be comfortable with me going out and having fun with me. But if he doesn't want to go out, I want him to be comfortable with me going out alone. Well, he's not, because you're always trying to lay down somewhere, girl. So Abby asked about the living situation. So Virginia said, well, she doesn't want to live in his condo because it's his place. And we understand that, Virginia, because one wrong move and you're out. Honey, I've been saying that since review number 3. She said she does love him, but it's just a lot. So they asked if she's ready for that life, and she said, that's what I haven't really figured out yet. Honey, well, let me figure this out for you. You and Aaron seem to have more chemistry than you and Eric. No wonder you always want to spend a night somewhere. Honey, just get with Aaron, close down the laptop, call Abby back later, and tell Eric no at decision day, honey. 2 days until D-Day. Ryan and Clara throw the football because they're on their last date before decision day. Ryan threw the ball and he hit 2 pins. She said, look at you go. Girl, go well. Honey, you didn't do nothing. Ryan, also, why are you wearing Clara's jeans? Honey, you and Chris gonna put on y'all women's clothes if y'all don't do nothing else. Them jeans are too tight, honey, and cuffed at the ankles. Boy, if you don't go on. So Clara said, the game was just so terrifying. There were balls flying everywhere. Oh, we know you ain't used to balls flying everywhere. That's what she said. Boom, boom, shh. Honey, the spirit of Jacob has taken over, okay? Ryan said, this is a good way to relieve the stress of the week. You know what else relieves stress, Ryan? You guessed it, sex. Oh, crazy boy. They sit down to eat, which is Clara's favorite pastime. I hate seeing Clara eat, honey. That mouth just be moving and, oh my God, I have to look down while she's doing that. So, honey, she sits down, they get ready to eat, and Clara almost swallowed her sandwich whole. And Ryan said, what has been the best part? Clara said, they did so well. Like, you're just so great. Blah, 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 blah. Ryan said, we are uniquely bonded no matter what. No matter what, we'll always have this bond. And he wouldn't want to go through it with anyone else, no matter what happens on decision day. Baby Clara looked at him. She said, can you talk about decision day in a more positive light? And honey, she stormed off. Child, I think he's trying to prepare you. I'm just saying. I don't think Ryan's going to say yes on decision day. I just really don't. Y'all stop and comment down below if you feel like I'm feeling, because I'm just saying I don't think it's going to happen. Vincent and Brianna. So they get to their last date, honey, and she said, you look dapper. He said, that's what I do. Well, you got time to dress up and do all that stuff because you don't go to work during the day. Child. And then he looks at her and he says, you look nice too. Bree, what is this men in black suit you wearing, honey? What is, girl? I'm looking for you to pull out a red light and just put it right in Vincent's eyes so he can forget this wedding and this marriage ever happened. Girl, what are you wearing? Honey, here come the men in black. Okay, girl, if you don't go on, honey. Anyway, where's your cute dress? Child, coming in this men in black suit, child. Anyway, Bree said, at first we used to shield our feelings from each other, but now we don't. We just go straight in. So Vincent said, he still holds his feelings inside and then he shuts down and his attitude gets bad. Well, we're glad you can finally admit it, okay? You're starting to see your faults. She said, I noticed you got mad about the whole organization thing. He said, I just don't like that. I don't like asking for help. And she said, well, you can always come to me for literally anything. You can always come to me for help. He said, the fact that you are turned off by me makes me sad, because the fact that he said that he was turned off because she was bossy. And she said she doesn't know if she can change. This is her in the interview. She said, I don't know if I can change. She said, I say exactly what I mean, honey. She said what she said and she ain't changing it. That's just how she feels about it. So Vincent said, in the past, being with a bossy person didn't work out. Bree said, this is hard and I just hope that we make the right decision. Then she stares over at him while he gobbles his food like he's starving, honey, when he worked all day. Okay, Tommy Strong. And what is on this plate, honey? Barbecue porcupine, or what is it, child? It's the biggest plate of something I've ever seen. Child, what are you eating? Haley and Jacob. They go to eat, okay? Jacob went straight to his seat to sit down, honey, didn't pull a chair out or nothing. I said Jacob has completely checked out. Haley said, dating him is so stressful. Well, honey, you ain't got to worry about it no more, honey. It's almost over. Jacob said, this is the last day until decision day. So Jacob said, as much as I would like to make this work, it just might not. Honey looks at his plate and then he says, this is a nice size steak. I appreciate that. Boom, boom. The fact that Jacob looked at his plate and decided that the steak was the part of the date that he appreciated. Child, I'm done, honey. Jacob says, I know my fashion sense wasn't that great. Jacob, stop putting yourself down, honey. She has gotten so into your head that now you just think you are all around mess. The only thing that was wrong were them boots. If we can get you out of those boots and those Stacey Adams at the most inappropriate times, then everything will be fine. It's just like Paige. Ain't nothing wrong with Paige. Paige just needed a good wig and you need a good pair of shoes. Once we get that going, honey, y'all good to go. Child, please. Haley said, I think the positive letters were good for us. Girl, whatever. Anything to hear something positive about yourself. So then Jacob said, are you nervous about decision day? Haley said, yeah, because it's been 7 years since I've been with anyone. So then she asked him if he was nervous. He said, for sure, but I'll go with my gut. Honey, that gut locked up. Honey, just like that decision. Locked up. You eat steak and eggs all day long. Gut is locked up. Okay? Eric and Virginia. Honey, baby, on this part, listen. Eric said, Virginia, you can't go, honey. Baby, I'm begging, baby, I'm begging, begging, begging. Baby, Eric started crying and everything, honey. So Eric said, for him, it's a yes. He thinks they're on the same page. And Eric looks at Virginia because they sit down and they have their drinks, right? Eric said, when I see your smile, it just lights me up. Like the fact that you're just smiling is so beautiful. Honey, it's the pretty drink, Eric. She's smiling at the drink. I just don't want you to get confused, honey, because you were getting quite emotional. So then Eric starts to get all emotional. And Virginia looked right at him and said, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I can't stand him. Virginia, this man, child, it was going on for about 10 minutes, okay? But I'm not finna go verbatim into what he said. But he was literally spilling his guts for like 10 minutes. And Virginia looked at him and said, yeah. Virginia said, well, your views on marriage are different. And that worries me. Baby, that dried those tears up real quick. Eric said, I trust you beyond belief. Child, please. You don't trust that girl. Then he brings up the guy friends again. And he said, when I get a text, I immediately show it to you. I'm like, here, look at my text. This is the text that I have, and I just want you to do the same. And she said, well, give me a list. She said, give me a list, honey. Write it down and fax it to me. Child, I am done. I am so done with Virginia. Honey, Virginia is not moved. Virginia want Aaron. Virginia want to spend a night. Virginia want her alcohol. And Virginia does not want Eric. Okay, but I'm going to continue on with this review. He said, No, I completely want you to do what you want to do, but if you want to respect me, you just have to do a few of these things. So basically, Eric is saying, do whatever you want to do, but I want to control what you do. And if you do what I'm telling you to do, then that will be you respecting me. And in turn, we can do what you want to do. See how stupid that sounds? Okay, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, so Eric says, I wouldn't want to do this with anyone else. She said, you don't know that. He said, yeah, I do. She said, you thought that with that ex, honey, and you thought it with that one as well. He said, yeah, I did, but I was wrong. Honey, Virginia ain't buying it. She cannot be bothered, okay? Virginia, Eric is laying it on as thick as he can, and Virginia could care less about those crocodile tears. She thinking about Aaron, child. And then she asked him if he believes in soulmates, and he said, yeah. She said, I don't. Dang, Virginia, honey, you were not playing. I think you're trying to get Eric not to like you. It's not working. Ryan and Clara. Clara said, I wanted it so bad, but she knows Ryan is holding back, so she's just going to hold back as well. So Ryan said, this is the last night until decision day. Now let me give y'all the visual. Clara has gotten into bed with a full face of makeup, honey. Has not washed not now piece of it off of her face. Yes, I said now piece of it. I'm country, okay? She gets into the bed and snuggles up underneath him, just like Rocky does Virginia underneath his crevices, okay? So as she's laying down, he's over her, so she can't see his facial expressions, right? So she said, well, I'm going to go to sleep, and after decision day, then we'll be married forever. If y'all could have saw the look on Ryan's face, he said, yeah, Clara, he is not the one, honey. He don't want nothing to do with it. So Ryan says, Clara is sympathetic and she doesn't judge, but he has to be objective about spending the rest of them spending the rest of their lives together. Sure, I don't think so. Brianna and Vincent. He helps her take her boot off, okay, because they've just gotten back from their date. And Vincent said Brianna makes him happy, but it's a life-changing decision, okay? And so they come in and they get ready to, go to sleep for the night, right? So Bree said, it's our last night together, but before we have to make an educated guess. Girl, an educated guess is what you do during a science experiment. That's a hypothesis where you make an educated guess as to whether or not the volcano is going to erupt or not. Honey, we learned that in science class. What you're doing right now is going based on the facts. You have the facts in front of you. Can you or can you not deal with Vincent and his temper tantrums? Can he not deal with you being a boss over his whole entire life? And telling him everything he does wrong at every given moment. And not an educated guess. Girl, you're saying anything right now. Vincent said, well, I have a surprise for you. She's like, is it a good one? And he said, kinda. This boy grabs a pair of the biggest shears / scissors, grabs her braid. And at first I thought he was playing. I'm like, okay, he play all day. He play all day. No, he takes those scissors and cuts her braid. Child, when I tell you I hollered at that TV, I said, oh my gosh. I could not believe he cut her braid. Granted, honey, she can get that little braid and tuck it into a good bun or something. Honey, they ain't gonna notice that one braid. But the fact that you cut her braid, and then he said, I thought you wanted to take your hair down. Now, you know good and well, y'all about to go to sleep. So why would you do that right now? Why would you think it made sense for you to take braids down right now? And the fact that you had those scissors in bed, honey, sleeping with the enemy. That's all I'm gonna say, honey. Bree said, well, why would you do that? How am I gonna wear my hair now in that bun that we just talked about? Honey, this was some old passive-aggressive bull. You was mad because she said you were unorganized, so you plotted, schemed, and thought about the perfect opportunity to cut her hair off. Plus, you found out that she pays $200+ for these braids, so you were going to cut these braids off, honey, to cut it out of the budget. Don't think you fooling me, honey. Jacob and Haley. Haley said, you want a drink? He said, I'm just going to drink a little bit of this sink water. Ew, Jacob filtrated or something, honey. You got to filter that water out coming from the sink. And I'm telling where that's coming from. Jacob said, we were a match for a reason, and he thinks that Haley is a good person. Aw, Jacob. And he says she's strong-willed. Oh, that's sweet. Eric and Virginia. Ugh, they about to get ready to go to bed. They look so yucky in their night clothes. Anyway, they crawl into bed. Virginia said, sometimes they get caught up in their arguments, but tonight was good. And so Eric said, understanding our needs and, solving them is really good. It takes some people decades to fix things. It took us like 6.5 weeks. Child. Eric says Virginia is so colorful and it rubs off on him, and he wants that forever. Then they talk about the living situation. Oh my God, they're going to wear me out, child. Eric says, if you stay after the lease is up, I will rent out the apartment, rent out my condo as soon as I can. Why don't you rent it while her lease is expiring? Boy, if you don't make that condo an Airbnb and call it a day, honey, Virginia said decision day could be the best day ever or the worst day ever. And judging from the way you've been acting this entire episode, I'd say the worst. One day until decision day. We have Ryan and Clara. Honey, he looked like he was feeling on her butt a little bit when they were laying in the bed. I said, okay, so we making some progress, okay? Thought I saw a little hand movement underneath the covers. So he gets up, okay, and then we see Eric packing. See, this is like the little scene that you see before the actual scene, okay? So Eric is packing. Surprise, Vincent's still breathing after last night, honey, because, baby, you would be all the way up out of my bed after you done cut my dang on hair off, okay? So they stay on Vincent and Brianna. So she asked if he had a good slumber. He said, yeah, until now. Why do you always say that? She's not allowed to speak to you in the morning either? Like, do you want your pupils to be fully dilated before she says good morning, or how is this going? Because I've noticed that this is the second consecutive week that you have said, yeah, it was good until now. Oh, child. Bree said being single was tough, but being with an emotionally unstable, passive-aggressive baby is worse. Just so we're clear. She asked if he was happy to have some good, alone time before decision day. He's like, yeah, I just want to go home and chill and relax and think about it. And sleep, honey, and not work, child. Then he says, he looks at her after he gets all his things, and he said, nice getting to know you. She said, what does that mean? Honey, puts his hoodie on, turns around, and walks out the door. No kiss goodbye, no see you later, no adios, no Spanish word of the day, nothing. Baby, we would be divorced on decision day. Because first of all, I don't like how you left me in limbo and have me worrying about if you cut my dang on braid and then you gonna end it on a note where you tell me nice to get to know you. Honey, it ain't no way. Child, no way. Clara says she's 100% sure of what she's going to say. Honey, we are too. Child, you gonna say yes, honey. Ryan gets immediately up and gets to packing, honey, to go back to his slanted cabinet. Clara's still laying in bed, delusional, okay? Ryan says, I know it's gonna be a life-altering decision. Honey, Ryan gonna go home and call that family and that fine brother of his, and Clara gonna be standing at that altar by herself, okay? Haley and Jacob. Haley said they're finally in a good place. Jacob says, I want to make it work. Oh, Jacob. Jacob says his last goodbye to the dogs, and next stop is decision day. Haley said the fear of the unknown is just weighing on me. Girl, it ain't unknown. You been not wanting Jacob, so don't want him now. Girl, that's all. She said Jacob is loyal and all those other things, but she still needs to decide. It's a big decision. Okay, girl. Virginia and Eric. Virginia said, I wish dogs understood. I wish that he understood, like, that you were leaving us. Child, Rocky probably happy as I'll get out, honey. He can't wait for him to dot that door, honey. He gonna be like, woof, 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 woof. Honey, he gonna be having a good old time. Rocky can't stand Eric. Honey, you the only one want him around. Eric said, we're on the same page with some of the things, but there's still work. And then I blacked out at this point because I could really care less, honey. Let's just move on to decision day. Y'all arguing in circles. Y'all gonna talk about the home life, her spending the night, you telling her about her childhood. Then y'all are going to turn around 2 seconds later, give each other a kiss, and then say how everything is so perfect. And you guys keep working through your arguments day after you fight, honey, and scene. Child, next week is decision day. No, next week is not decision day. Next week is where we're going to hear some Married at First Sight alumni tell us how they feel decision day is going to go and what they've been watching so far and what they've had to endure, which is probably the same madness that we had to endure. As always, I try to bring you the best of what I have, honey. And let me tell you something. I fell asleep at least twice during this episode. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because when Eric and Virginia get to talking in circles about the home life and the situations and where they gonna live, and listen, let me just run it down to you. On decision day, this is how it should go. Haley and Jacob, would you like to stay together? No. Ryan and Clara, would you like to stay together? No. Brianna and Vincent, would you like to stay together? That's a hell no. Chris and Paige? Well, you know what? This process no longer serves me, so I'm just going to have to go ahead and bow out. All right. Thank you so much, Michael Jackson and Chris. You can go to hell. All right, y'all. That has been all for this review. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all know I love my Thursday morning comments. When I go down in the comments, I'm ready to get in there, honey, and start talking about all things maths. We have not had much to go on these past 2 weeks, honey, but I try to zhuzh it up with all of my colorful commentary. So I hope you enjoy and or appreciate. If you want to donate to my beautiful channel, it is down in the description box below. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.